What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of Sports Talk 49 live on BucksReport.com every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. This show is powered by 320 Solar. Go to 320solar.com. Today, we're going to talk about turmoil in Tampa, Buccaneers offense. Whose offense is it? Should they change? Should they not? And I'll go into my perspective with Khalil Davis. And while all this is going on, we're going to take phone calls from you guys. We're going to have talk about different perspectives and stuff like that. So stay tuned to these quick messages, and we'll get back straight to it. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. So bring your comments and your concerns about this offense and this team, and we'll talk about it. Stay tuned.
Power bill through the roof? At 320 Solar, that power bill will be no more. In fact, about 90% of our customers report lower solar payments than with electricity. That's more power in your pocket. 320 Solar. Power up. Going solar with 320 may cost you nothing down. But the work we do is not a $0 job. With a 10-year roof penetration warranty and solar panels guaranteed for 25 years, you can have peace of mind knowing we will do the job right every time without question. .320 Solar. Power up.
And we're back. Thanks for tuning in to Sports Talk 49 live on Bucks Report every Monday and Friday at 3 p.m. And make sure to always check out all the other great shows here on Monday through Friday and what's going on here all the time, because you never know what's going on through Sunday through Saturday here at Bucks Report. And speaking of going on, make sure to check out all the great sponsors that are a part of Bucks Report. Make sure to check out Fast Track Cannabis Clinics of America, the nation's largest marijuana doctor network with over 2,500 state licensed doctors in all 32 states. Marijuana is legal. My Cannabis Card effectively links new patients with the closest state licensed medical marijuana doctor near them, while also saving them up to 30% on evaluation costs. Just mentioned Sports Talk 49 or Bucks Report. Finally, say goodbye to your electric bill. Go solar. Put the power back into your pocket and pay nothing out of pocket till 2022. Go to 320solar.com And make sure to ask for Frank Ammons and tell him Blake sent you. eWire Solutions, smart home electrical. Go to www.ewiresolutions.com or call 813-667-2003. Daniela Styling Studios. Go to ladybarberdaniela.booksky, BOOKSY.com, and book your appointment today. Tell her I sent you. The Deck Bar and Grill, last but definitely not least. Great food, great experience. Cedric Robinson runs a tight ship out there, and as long as those other staff members are just as great experience and they're pleasant to be around, make sure to check out the Deck Bar and Grill at Isla del Sol while watching the Sports Web and Peter Blake and the gang out there doing the pre, half, and post-game shows. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Tampa Bay's offense, Tampa Bay's defense. What do you guys want to talk about? There's a lot being said about it. There's a lot of turmoil being brought up. There's a media's outside of Tampa Bay media's taking a lift to this. It's interesting. And, let me just go right into it. What's being said? Here we go.
All right, we have spent a lot of time debating whose offense the Bucs are running. Is it Tampa Tom or Buccaneer Bruce? Here's what let's do. Let's shelve that and just get to something everyone can agree on. It is the wrong offense, and it is flat killing the football team. Let me count the ways. First, play action. Tom Brady is second in the league in yards per play when they run it, but that is almost never. Only 2 teams in the sport have run it less. That makes no sense. Last Sunday, head-to-head, Patrick Mahomes ran play action 17 times, Brady 5. The next problem is motion. His last 3 seasons in New England, Brady's teams were second in using pre-snap motion. Worked out well. They went 36-12. They made 2 Super Bowls. This year, the Buccaneers are 15th, despite Brady's passer rating being 24 points higher when they do it. And he is pressured, hit, and sacked less. Those are facts. They're not opinions. But none of it is as bad as this. The no risk it, no biscuit thing is a disaster. Brady has thrown more deep balls than any quarterback in the league, despite the fact that he's 26th in completion percentage on those throws. And all the Bucs do is throw it. They pass on 66% of their plays. That's the highest for Brady in his career. They're 28th in the league in rushing, and they had 1 game in which they ran it 5 times. That's the fewest in any NFL game since they started keeping stats, which was 1933. So, how's it going? Tampa is 7-5. They finally have their bye. Maybe they change things up. It isn't too late. None of the 4 games left on their schedule is against a winning team. But if the next month doesn't look different and a whole lot better, the question is going to be, do Brady and Bruce run this back again next year? And if so, the even better question might just be, why?
Here we are. Mike Greenberg said it best. What's been going on here? And I have a lot to say to a lot of that. And some people are going to agree with me. Some people aren't. Let's start from the beginning. I think when you want to tell a story, you want to start from the beginning, then you work to the middle, and then we'll come to the end. So let's start when this all happened. Tampa Bay moves on from Jameis Winston. Their first option was Tom Brady, then Teddy Bridgewater, etc., and things like that. So you get Tom Brady here. Tom Brady knows about you. Bruce knows everybody in the league. Everybody knows what he's all about. Buccaneers bring him in here, to be OC and head coach. He lets them know from the beginning that he's not going to be calling plays because Jason Light reached out to Bruce Arians because Bruce Arians was in retirement. So he brings in Byron Leftwich and a lot of his guys from Arizona, and you bring in your old style from there and bringing in what you bring in. You heard Carson Palmer talk. You heard Ben Roethlisberger talk. You've heard Andrew Luck talk about he lets you call your plays and what you feel in the games and things like that. So that's already been established. That's not a secret. That's from what's been said from former and current players that are playing. That's been with Bruce Arians. So he gives you free reign, especially a guy that has multiple Super Bowl rings and MVPs and been to 20 plus in the league 20 plus years. That would be the person to trust picking your plays and calling them. Now, with that being said, you have to execute those plays. I think Ben Parrish said that pretty much. because they're the same plays when you guys are cheering when they're winning, and they're the same plays you're complaining about when they're losing. You know what the difference was? What'd you say in those two games when it's a win and a loss? One is you talk about all the great plays that were made in the win, but in the loss, you talk about all the plays that you missed. You see, the difference was because you executed one week, but you didn't execute the next week. You can come up with these play actions, motions, et cetera, et cetera. That's hearsay. If you listen to any athlete that talks about this situation, which they have, you got to execute regardless of the plays. And for people to think that you're just going to change your identity with 4 weeks left in the regular season would be asinine. You would completely change who you are or whatever you think you are and just change it with the last 4 weeks. That would be a disaster as far as continuity goes and things like that. And is there now? Let me clarify what I'm saying a little bit. I'm not saying that you can't call other things. You can't run the ball more in situations. You can't. I'm not saying that at all. That I'm saying you should do more things like that. But at the end of the day, you call motions or whatever you play actions and all that. You got to actually be in situations where you can run play action where the defense will actually bite it and not be down, 17 points early in the game or 21 in another and things like that. And you're turning over the ball and you're getting penalty killing drives that takes away an aspect. There's a lot of intangibles. So when guys like Mike Greenberg pull out a number, a guy who hasn't played in the league, when you pull out statistical numbers like that, what situations were they in? Of course, you're not going to run the ball, run a play action on the 3rd and 15, 3rd and 11. You're not going to run the ball in those situations or run a play. I mean, you can, but you're not going to fool anybody. You bring in a dynamic player that could help your offense in, Antonio Brown. There's not too much going on, and everybody's upset about Mike Evans not getting the ball enough and breaking Randy Moss's records. And just who are you trying? I don't know. It's just like it seems like this team and even the fan base are getting pulled in different directions because you don't know what you are. And as I said, when we start from the beginning and move to the middle and the end, everybody was ready to move on from Rojo. Week 2, you were done with Rojo. Remember Leonard Fournette sealed the game in Carolina? Everybody was pretty much done with him. Leonard Fournette was going to come in and be the starter. The word was bell cow back over and over and over that you heard was bell cow back. When they had this offense with all these receivers and O.J. Howard, 12 personnel, who are you going to double? Who are you going to cover? Remember all that? O.J. Howard goes down. You move in Cam Brate, Tanner Hudson and these guys. All Claire's not – well, he's back now. Now you go to this vertical passing game. You kind of got away from the 12 personnel thing and all that stuff. But it's just changed from week. It just changes from week to week. And then when you play, teams that have a great pass rush, now your vertical game struggles. You can't rely on the run. You have a quarterback that's not going to actually, extend plays by fleet of foot. He's a pocket quarterback. And sometimes Leftwich or Brady, whoever the play sheet looks like, you got to leave some type of things out there so you can alleviate yourself under pressure and things like that. Now, the running backs haven't helped him out a lot either, but a lot of the drop passes and stuff like that, not making first guys miss in space. That's the key part, is making guys miss, the first guy defender miss. I remember people were commenting on watching the Colts game and watching Hines play, and everybody's like, well, why couldn't we have a back like that? Well, the difference between Hines, Rojo, and Leonard Fournette is Hines makes the first guy miss, and he picks up yak yards. He's picking up extra yardage. He's helping extend your drives. He's not getting tackled with the first defender. And all the things that I'm saying all goes back to execution. Regardless of the plays, could he not call a bunch of vertical plays? Yeah, he could not call that a lot. Not put your linemen in vulnerable positions, and when you know certain linemen struggle to pass block, yeah, he could do that. But to say that it's just not working all together is kind of a little stretch to me, because they're the same plays that had this team in first place in the division before it happened. Now when it's not even that bad. You're 7-5. You lost 2 games in a row. You just got to get back on the win column. Get this bye week. You got it real late. You need it with all these injuries and stuff going on. You can really implement Antonio Brown now. He's actually got a bye week. You got an extra week of practice that you can start incorporating these things in that you weren't awarded earlier in the season. But to think that the players are going to change, that Bruce Arians is going to change those, it's not going to happen. But can they call better plays and execute them? Absolutely. In situations, can they not put themselves in compromising situations to call non-predictable plays? Absolutely. But that all comes from everybody contributing. And it's just, I say this all the time when I was with Peters, it sounds like the same conversation we were having with Jameis Winston was here. The same. I sound like a disc on repeat. It's the exact same conversation with somebody else, the quarterback. The exact conversation. We're just not mentioning that individual's name today. And I see you in there, Deshaun. I just want to get my rant off before you come in, because I know you're going to give your piece here in a minute, and I'll let you do your thing. So you go ahead and bust that grub, and I'll get you here in a minute. Misador, let me get to your comments too, guys. I don't want to ignore you, because I'll talk about it. Like I said, I want to paint a picture from beginning, middle, to end where we're at on the year. Execution is an issue. It's the setting up plays. Yeah. More play action and motion before snap is a must. Brady had better completion. I said, did the guys drop the ball on the plays where these guys are, or when they run these plays? Like, that's what I said, those numbers are skewed. I could pull up numbers on stuff all day long, but were they a drop pass? Was there a holding call on the play? What happened? Why didn't that happen? To just say that, when you run those plays you want, like, that's not entirely true. Brady got to be OC now too. Well, a lot of people talked about that when he came to this team. Whose offense is it going to be? The thing I don't like is that you heard him say, is it Tampa Tom's offense, or is it Buccaneer Bruce's offense? Why isn't it the Tampa Bay Buccaneers offense? Why is it somebody else's offense? Why isn't it the team's offense? And that's the one thing I never liked here with Tampa Bay, is that it's always got to be somebody's something besides the team. Why couldn't it be the Buccaneers, just their offense? Why has it got to be labeled with a name on it? Because they all talk and they're all together and they come up with these game plans and things like that. It's not like where I just hand you the playbook and say, hey, pick the damn plays this week and I'll see you on Friday. Let me know what you want to call. It doesn't work like that. And in game situations, when you call a play, you're just not forced to throw it to one guy. Then that's the quarterback's decision based on what the defense is. That's how it goes. It's a chess match in football. It is a lot of physical, but it's a lot of mental and preparation and looks and preparing yourself for situations. So it's not that simple, but it is that simple sometimes. Christopher Cole, national media is always trying to find something to discuss. We're 7-5 and fans are complaining. I'm used to that here in Tampa Bay, to find something to complain about. That's why I don't even bother, getting into arguments and things like that over certain stuff like that, because I'm used to seeing that folks were complaining when they were winning. So they're damn sure going to complain when they're losing, Chris. So, I'm tired of hearing about Brady picking his own plays. To me, the way it's been described, that's like going to DJ's playlist and picking songs. Did I really pick my own song, or did I pick the DJ song? Yeah, that's a good metaphor. I mean, this. Misador, stats are easily slanted to fix your agenda. That's my point. Is because what happened in that game to get to that? What situation were you in? Was you running the play action actually successful to the play? Did the motion route actually help? It's funny when you say the motion route, and it just brings me that Didn't they run a motion route on the 4th and 1? Everybody complained about that Chris Godwin tripped over Mike Evans' foot. Oh, so it's not good then, but it's good when Mike Greenberg brings it up. Let me run it back again. They don't run enough motion plays, but on empty set, you run a motion play with Mike Evans, which is a natural rub route and should have been a first down if it was executed properly. Execution, the word. It's a first down, and it was a motion play. So again, let me look at these stats. Are the times you're running motion route, are the plays executed successfully? Or are you screwing them up? So Misador brought up a great point. That it thinks numbers can be skewed to fit your agenda. I'll get to these last comments. I'm going to bring Deshaun on here because I know he's going to go in here in a minute. Stats are, we just read that. The only reason everyone is harping on the motion right now is because Romo pointed it out. He said, Romo pointed it out. Look, Brady has been in the league for 20 years. Believe me, he can read a defense. And there's a movie that brings me up to that, Misador. I don't know if you guys ever seen it. It's called God Bless America. And there's a scene in there where the guy talks about, he said, people don't have their own conversations anymore. They're too lazy to do their own research and everything. And that part always sticks to me. And people always say, how do you remember clips in movies? Because there's things that are said in there that are totally true to some things, even though it's a movie. His point was, he listened to everybody have conversations. He said none of their conversation is based on their own thought. Everything is regurgitated from somebody else to make them seem like they know what the hell they're talking about. I say he's absolutely right. And what you said, Misador, as soon as Romo said it, that's all everybody repeats now. You have no point of stat. You have no stats or anything arguing that beforehand to even know that was even an issue or even know if it's an issue. Then they bring up the motion thing now. From last week to not running the ball to now it's not running play actions and motions to why you're not losing or why you're winning. Whatever it is, it changes from week to week. And it's based on what somebody else says. You're the guys watching the game. But anyway, let me bring on Deshaun. Deshaun, what's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey, what's up, guys? How are we doing today?
Good. What's going on, man? I see you over there busting the grub, getting it in before you go in.
Yeah, just came back from getting my son to basketball practice. So just was waiting to get on here and get some Bucks talk. I know it's an off week, guys, but a couple of key things. First thing, I'm going to tell everybody, listen, if you're a Bucks fan right now, just go ahead and calm down.
Yep.
Don't hit the panic button. Don't jump ship. Don't do any of those crazy things right now. We're good. We're good. Right now, where we're at, we're pretty good. First and foremost, let's just talk about it. The Chiefs game, as anybody was picking our roster, unless you were just fully engulfed in the Kool-Aid and the whatever alcoholic beverage you're drinking, you did not have us going undefeated. Most people had us losing the Chiefs game. That's just a fact. That was one of the games. Was you had us 10-6, you had us with 4 losses, whatever it was, you had us losing to the Chiefs. The truth, though, is when you look at the game, you go on all 22, or you really do a breakdown of the game. We played horribly and lost the game by 3. We had an opportunity to win this game. Now, forget about picks, forget about anything. I would say, hey, he didn't throw a pick, timeout calls, just run a little bit more, whatever the case may be. We did not play the best game, and we lost to the Chiefs by 3. That speaks volumes. And I'm going to give you another couple stats here. Let's just go in. Preseason, we're talking about this before and after the draft, we're talking about it. And I think everybody's on the same page of saying, hey, if you have a 1,000-yard runner, you make the playoffs. So before we get Super Bowl, I know the Super Bowl's home in Tampa today, this year rather, but before we get to Super Bowl, we got to first get to the playoffs. Playoffs, right? If we get a 1,000-yard rusher, we'll get to the playoffs. So with all of the haphazardness stuff, then he's not running the ball. We're a little bit running back by committee. We're hot hand running back, things of that nature. Guess what? Rojo needs about 185 yards to have a 1,000-yard season.
In 4 games. Plenty of time.
4 games.
Plenty of time.
45 yards per game. 1,000 yards. If we get 1,000 yards, we make the playoffs. Let's start putting things together, guys. Let's not just get all, disheveled when we see the whole box of Legos come, fall out, and we don't want to put them all back together. We start with some things and let's get it together.
And I'm looking at the other part of the divisions here. Like it's not need to panic. They don't deserve the bye week. Let's just say it. They don't deserve it. So just got to make the playoffs and get you what you need to work on, and finish out the season strong, coming to the playoffs. And I'm saying that because the NFC East is a joke, but unfortunately a winner is going to come out of there. They're 4-7 leader in there. Seahawks lead their division. They're 8-3. They're only 2 games ahead of us. Rams are 7-4, right there with us. The Packers are 8-3, and everybody else in the division has 5 wins or less. Then there's our division with the Saints at 9-2 and the Bucs at 7-5. Like, I'm backing up what Deshaun's saying is relax. You're not in a bad spot right now. Could it be better? Yeah, but
it could be better. But listen, we got to play all the games, don't we? We got to play all the games. Just listen, guys. A couple of ththings that a lot of the pundits are saying now, they have something to talk about. Listen, I'm happy. Any publicity is good publicity. People know that are, from a media standpoint. But listen, I look at that 1,000 yards that Rojo is clearly going to catch. I'm not worried about anybody else getting any accolades. So no, I'm not worried if Mike gets 1,000 yards this season. I don't care if he's doing Hall of Fame number. I don't really care about any of those things. The only reason I looked at Rojo's is because when we have one of our premier or mostly our lead running back get 1,000 yards, those teams generally go to the playoffs. That's generally, right? Not all the times. If you look at the top 5 rushers, two of the top 5 rushers are not even on winning teams. I think dude from the Jaguars is in there and someone else. But 2 of the top 5 rushers that are probably either 1,000 yards or over 1,000 yards right now, they're not on winning teams. So it's one of the check boxes that if you can check this, it will help and assist you on your path. It's a little bit more like Zelda, to date yourself, or Minecraft. You need some things to be checked to get there. It's not going to be wow. So I know some of us, we're just, you got Tom and we got all these players in this all-star team. You still got to play the game. You still got to play the game. You still got to put it together. And guess what? The fact is a fact. Offenses change week to week based on what defenses decide to take away. You can't go to Mike all the time when they double him. So you're not going to go to him. You got to make the decision to go underneath. And some of the lapses by he who shall not be named was because he chose to go to Mike when he was doubled or tripled, and then he threw picks, and we were mad about that. So now when you get Tom Brady that decides, listen, I won't go to him because he's bracketed and it's a little tight for me to fit it in here, I'll do that. I saw here's another point that I wanted to make. Off from that 1,000 yards that's going to get us into the playoffs. The next thing is the roster spots. I saw that we had some people in for workouts either yesterday or this week. We had a couple of players in for workouts. So we had a running back in. We get 2 O-linemen in for workouts. And listen, this roster, when I saw, I think the beginning of last week that Jack Sitchy got dropped off the roster. And I'm thinking to myself, what's the possibility of Jack Sitchy getting in on any game that you've seen this year? He's not the type of linebacker that truly even fits this scheme. He's not fast enough to do what our inside linebackers do.
I know why they got him. He was really successful blitzing at Wisconsin when he was there, but his issue was injuries over and over, which continued here in Tampa Bay. But go on, I just want to jump in.
Well, so that's my thing. He's unfortunate for the guy. I don't wish anything bad on anyone, but he's been historically injured. Since he's been here, that was his not coming out of school. To be honest with you, remember he came out injured. If I'm not mistaken, he was out off the injury. I think he only played like maybe sophomore or junior season. He came out, but he was on the injury when he came out as well. And you were taking a flyer on him when he came out. But my thing is not necessarily the focus on Jack Sitchy. It's more the roster spot and how, from a GM standpoint, we don't covet that roster spot. Listen, our O-line depth is tremendously lacking, and we've not addressed it, in this case. And guess what? If we don't have I see we've been playing around with Keyshawn Vaughn. We had Davis here. We tried to get some other backs that are more pass catching back, and even Fournette's supposed to be a pass catching back as well, which he is. But keep in mind the way that the Jaguars used him as a pass catching back was heavy screen game, and when he was out there, their offense, he still was not a person who made people miss. Right. He would just be left unaccounted for, and he would get a lot of yards that way. He's not an elusive person. Someone said the other week, and I think we caught it when AB really first got in there. I think it was like first play that he came in the game. He was in the backfield. That's probably going to be one of the more key places to put him. Tom Brady's a check down king. Yeah, he's a check down king. He really those tight end passes are really check downs to him when he doesn't see what he wants to see deep. A lot of the missed balls let me know, yes, he has the arm. Some of them he's truly throwing out there to keep corners and safeties back. It's the game inside the games. And unfortunately, some of the fans, if no one says it, they won't. So maybe they use this as a talking point and say, they start saying it to piggyback on what Blake said earlier. But those roster spots, I think, are going to be major. And I think that, listen, stop beating up Carlton Davis. He's
one bad game.
The task that he had. Bad game or not, listen.
He learned a lesson.
When you don't have a safety over the top,
against that guy.
You don't that guy. Like, listen, there's that point in any kids, any person that has a kid, they run over and they say, "Hey, that guy right there hit me, mom or dad. He pushed me, and he took the juice or the drink, and who's that? Wait, that guy right there." There's that point where like, hold on, let's reassess the situation. And listen, Tyreek Hill, he calls for that, just like a Julio Jones, just like a Mike Evans. So when you disrespect him in that fashion, and we definitely disrespected him by leaving our safety center field. And to be honest with you, it didn't help. It didn't help our defense with him being center field. He didn't stop any of the center field catches or disrupt it. He was better suited, or the defense seemed better suited when we did shade to the side and try to get over top, which he didn't really do until extremely late in the game. But we're still learning. We're still learning, and I'll take it. Mainly, execution comes down to where it's at. I saw that conversation that Mike and Tom had on the side. Not unlike something that I've seen before. I think there's a drop off in the caliber of our players and their things that I see Chris Godwin do, Mike Evans doesn't always do. Not always. And it's one of the things that makes Chris Godwin great. We're always talking about him digging out blocks and doing all these things. I've seen Mike Evans give some real crappy blocks over time, over the years that he's been here. Now, to give Mike some credit, he has gotten better on route running. He's gotten better with a lot of things. But guess what? Players tend to make other players have good habits or bad habits. Remember, Vernon Hargreaves was here. Those bad habits seemed to all go away when he left. The secondary whole team started to play better.
It was like night and day. It was like night and day.
And that could be because they were all young. And guess what? He's young as well, but being an elder statesman, but not really being an elder statesman, he didn't do anything to help. Same effect as you get a JPP, he comes onto that front, and all of a sudden, same front players, they're playing a lot better. So right. I think right now our team has a really good shot, guys, when we get to the playoffs. And one thing is because what we do well, we do stop the run. And everyone knows historically you do need to run the ball in the playoffs. And I'll take this. Teams that, people haven't fully counted us out yet, and that is because of Tom. We got a lot more media coverage, and that is because of Tom. And I'm glad to take it. I'm glad to turn on any other channel and First Take and all these other things, and they're talking about our team, albeit negative, but they're talking about us. Because guess what? The two teams that are leading right now, I'm sure Allison watched that game, Blake. The Steelers, all these wins that they've gotten have really been like shoestring tackle wins. They have not convincingly impressed me in any win. They're very gritty. They're very gritty. And if you've ever been to Pittsburgh, if Johnny Dean's in here, I've been down to Pittsburgh. I've been it's a gritty feel, you know. It feels gritty. It feels like everybody's just going to have their hat and go to work and do what they need to do. And I appreciate it. But from a football standpoint, I don't see how they can really match up with a team that's going to be uber efficient, right? Because they need every game to be slow and methodic and just grind out. And then the same thing with the Chiefs. We played a bad game, and we're there with the Chiefs. Now, people say, hey, they could have put on more points. They could have not. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. I can't tell you that they could have done it. Maybe we were already stopping what they needed to do. You know, every team looks at everybody's tape and decides on how they want to attack them. And I think our best thing right now is execution. Forget whatever offense that we're running, whether it's a BA or Tom Brady or whether it's Brian Leftwich. Doesn't make a difference. We got to execute. You know, I mean, there's other teams that you know what they're going to do on first down. And they look, when it's 4th and 1 and it's the Titans, we know Derrick Henry's going to tote that rock. You got to stop it.
Yep. I was going to get some of these comments in here. Let me get to the right one. He said, I chuckle every time I hear that word, execution. It takes me back to old John McKay interview. He was asked about team's execution, said he was all for it. Gets me laughing every time. It's the truth. Christopher Cole, 840. He just needs 160 for 1,000. Yep. Hang in there, Eric. I see you've been down there. You want to get in. Me and Deshaun just going in on this real quick. The point in bringing in Gronk and AB to force defenses to pick their poison. They are dead set on Mike Evans not beating them, and that's been it. The teams are just saying, "Hey, we ain't letting Mike Evans get run rampant out here," and teams have been doing that. All the teams with good pass rush and they drop 7 in coverage, they're taking Mike Evans away, and the other guys haven't really been stepping up or try to alleviate that bracketed coverage as you mentioned earlier. Kevin, this bye week has to be used to move the team to either end of the season 11-5 or 9-7. Ooh, I have little doubt that the team has the talent to end 11-5 and make the playoffs. My spidey senses tell me that in order to do that, the 3 things must happen coming out of the bye week. 1, give Tom Brady more plays to check down to the running back when the one or two option isn't there. Well, I just have a question. Do you know how many times running backs aren't out in the flats and he's not throwing to them? 2, the secondary has to play more man on third downs. That's exactly what they did against the Chiefs, and they got burnt for 3 touchdowns. The pass rush has to show up, by the way, JPP or Barrett both. JPP leads the team in sacks with 8.5. He showed up all season. And then the one with Shaq Barrett, he leads the league.
We're dropping him. Yeah, we're dropping Shaq. I don't really think you could quantify what Shaq Barrett is doing just as a down defensive end at this point, because he's in a lot of coverage. He's got pass breakups. He's tackling guys down the field. He's not just being a prototypical rush in. Rusher, right? Yeah. So you can't to classify him like that. It's going to be just like Levante David has been being classified like that over the years, where he wasn't getting the accolades, and now he's only compared to other linebackers or Mike linebackers or inside linebackers, if you will, instead of being an outside linebacker when he was really just a 4-3 linebacker, not really the same position, and just doing a lot of different things. So, I mean, the points have some validity, but I think the issue comes down to it. Like you said, we can go with numbers. A 6 and a 9 is the same thing to me, because it's how I'm looking at it, right? So we start talking about, hey, oh, well, look at the numbers. We don't know what the situation is for those numbers. Now, when we say, hey, you only have 5 rushes for the game, 4 true rushes and 1 tick and knee for the game, guess what? That's on the OC. Because guess what? At some point in that game, we were really only down 14 points. So at that, we could have still ran the ball. I think we go wholesale a little bit too much, and when they're wanting a big play, they do that a little bit too much as well. And I'm truly a believer, as I watch the offense. There's things that Tom Brady does, and there's things that the Buccaneers do. So you can tell me whoever's calling the players, he's calling what he wants. But when I see common Buccaneers plays based on tendency, I'm like, dude, this is a Buccaneer play right here. He called that, because that's a tendency play. I may see a couple of new wrinkles, but I know that there's a certain time where, we want to take a big shot. The difference with Tom Brady and he who shall not be named is that he's younger. And when the OC says go deep, he's going to go deep. Yeah. Tom, because he was told to go deep because he's younger. He's not an elder statesman. Now, Tom, having more rings than anybody on our staff, will say, nah. And what he'll do is he'll throw it underneath, he'll throw it wherever, and it might not be enough for the first down, and then he'll walk off and make a face. But guess what? At the end of the day, one of our biggest things with this offense has considerably been same conversation over the past 2 years, if you will. Oh, we start slow. We start slow. Yeah, we can take all the big shots that we want, but if it's the same conversation, to me, that has nothing to do with Tom Brady. Now, when we talk about, I think Johnny Dean was talking about the pass numbers. His pass numbers are relatively the same. So are we really worried about how much he's throwing? And, he's throwing the same thing. We're not going to break him. He's still an NFL quarterback. I'd love to see him, on his feet more and not get knocked down. But at this point right now, I think that Buccaneers are pretty good going into this bye week. Take the bye, self-scout, which is what BA said they were going to be doing this week anyway. And anytime you self-scout, if you're truly doing it, you're going to find some imperfections, some things that need to be worked on, and they'll be able to improve from there. Last 4 games, I have us winning those last 4 games. I see no reason why we should not.
It's in their favor. They play cold teams, and the times they're in the cold states, they're in a dome. And you asked for Johnny Dean, here he is. What's going on, Johnny Dean?
Hey, Johnny.
What's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on?
I came in just at the right time because I've been wanting to talk about this right here. What's up, Deshaun?
Hey, what's
up? As far as the game planning goes, that playbook was written all last year. You know that, right? It wasn't. Yep. There was no new playbook written just because Tom Brady was here. Because it takes time to install a playbook. It takes time to write a playbook. Those things are like 500 pages long, man.
I don't know why people think you just make it up week by week, but I understand that if people have never played and understand
adjustments you can make up, but you can't write a whole new playbook up. You can't be out there practicing routes and different routes and different stunts and line stunts and stuff in just in a game. It just isn't done.
Right.
Not done.
So most of the play calling and stuff looks like an Arians playbook because it was an Arians playbook. It was originally written that way for Jameis Winston. It wasn't written for Tom Brady. Tom Brady comes in, he calls the plays that he's more comfortable with. Of course. Now, as far as the deep throws, man, everybody knows every quarterback, even Jameis Winston, can check down. If Tom Brady's throwing deep throws too much, then that's on Tom Brady because he can always check down. That's a simple fact right there. I mean, it's not like there's some electronic buzzer in his neck that if he don't throw this certain pass, he's going to get electrocuted.
Right. That's the narrative I try to educate people on because there's some people that just tend to believe that they call a play like, oh, why they're just calling a deep plays. I'm like, that's not how it works. I'm like, yeah, do they want to take their shots if the coverage is there? Yeah, but if it's not, you go to your other intermediate or underneath routes and you just take whatever the defense give you. I mean, Leftwich has said that 100 times. He's like, the defense, the ball goes. I think Leftwich's exact quote was, "The ball goes where the defense allows you to let them throw it to."
Now, as far as the running plays, I have no clue, man, because Arians has always ran a 48% run game.
Yep.
Always. And this is not even an Arians game. The 5 runs in a game, that's never in history. And they talk about in history, nobody's ever ran so few. Well, that's true. Arians has never ran that few. So I don't know what's going on with that. If they're not getting the reads, if they're not getting the looks they want, if it's not the lines aren't stunning. There was a really good A gap formed last week when Rojo got that first down. That was a really good A gap with Donovan Smith and Marpet there.
Yeah.
But I can't get a view of the line well enough to see every time whether there's an A gap or why they're not running it. I don't understand that. I do not understand.
Hey Johnny, I really think it's that left side of the line is sometimes hit or miss from a combination standpoint, depending on the defensive front that they're facing.
Yeah, but you got the A and the B gaps. A running back has the same option as a quarterback. He can choose to take the A gap or the B gap, whichever hole's open. If there's a seam, he can take the seam. But I haven't seen a lot of that, man. I don't know. Yeah, I can't see the line well enough to judge that one way or the other.
Yeah, I think I'm telling you, it looks like when Marpet has somebody man up on him, right over him, he can always turn his hips. But when Donovan Smith, Donovan Smith, he seems like as well, when someone pre-snap is head up on him as well, or outside shoulder in a seven ghost technique, or outside, talking about the end where he would line up on either head up, so 7-eye would be head up on that tackle, and then they would be outside or inside of him. When he gets someone that lines up either head up on him or outside, he always opens big holes.
Yeah, because his first step. Have you ever watched his first step? He has to set on his first step. If he don't get that first step set, then he's off balance.
He's at a disadvantage. Yeah. That's the one thing I've noticed with him, even with his kickback, and I still want to do the Donovan Smith challenge and just have everybody on here just doing kickback steps, because his kickback is so, I'm telling you, if he gets set, what I think is when I watch his body, like you made a good point, even when he does his kickback, his butt's not low enough. He seems like he's very off balance and he can teeter. And that's why I think he gets pushed out the way so much, even being such a big guy.
Yeah, he has a problem getting low. He does on that.
Mm-hmm. He definitely has a problem getting low. That's, to me, he balances his thing. I saw him working in the off season. When you saw those videos of him working in the park in the off season, whoever was training him, he actually was sitting low. He doesn't sit like that in the game at all. So it begs the question what our offensive line coaches, say to him. But at the end of the day, we don't have any depth to come in. If he's screwing the pooch right now, where's our depth, Johnny? What's your opinion on that? I know we talked about.
Everybody knows my opinion on our depth, man. I've been trying about that for a year. We have no depth.
Well, listen, you had it correct about worse. We went with the lineman, and I remember you saying it specifically. If we go with the lineman in the draft, that's where you pick linemen that are gonna last for a long time. And Wirfs definitely seems like that.
Oh yeah, he's gonna be here a long time.
Absolutely. We got lucky with Marpet, but it's a hit or miss when you go into a third round after a lineman, dude.
When you go to a smaller school, it's hit or miss even. So sometimes it's, you're not guaranteed what you're gonna get. Sometimes the guy at the small school is a little bit smaller, or his competition level hasn't been the same that he could, and maybe he can or can't elevate his game. You're not guaranteed. But I do know that we brought in 2 linemen. I want to say we brought them in for just, I guess, evaluations or whatever. I think it was one guy from UCF, and then one guy from what's that?
Adrian Killings, the guy I scouted at the Shrine game.
Killings, and we brought in also Stanley.
Yeah.
Right.
So, we'll see. Can we have a better running back that could? Hey Johnny, you and Blake, do you think that possibly maybe Keyshawn Vaughn, or do you think we have a running back that can be elusive, or should we go with like a Mickens or AB coming out the backfield, or maybe just doing something to try to be able to give him a check down that's not just an option to catch the ball, but also to maybe do something after the catch?
I don't think you're going to get any of these guys cold going out there and just stepping in and catching the ball, throwing to them or getting yard. A running back's position is a position that gets better as they get more touches.
Correct.
That's what I think about Leonard Fournette. we bring Leonard Fournette in, and we expect a lot from him, and he's normally cold.
Exactly. Yeah, he comes in cold and he drops first 2 passes and then he don't get no more.
Yeah, and he's not that type of runner. He's used to being the apex, the bell cow, and he needs a couple of runs just to get started.
Yeah, he's got to get warmed up, and he's definitely shown. You can see the tightness in his running because he's not warmed up. Johnny's absolutely right. It's kind of like you got to get the car warming in the winter weather. Eric also joined us in the convo here. Eric, you got
what's up, Eric?
Conversation.
What's up? What's going on?
Not much. What you got for us today, Eric?
So I think I asked Deshaun. I think so. Are we like for sure that 10-6 gets a playoff spot, or we're not sure?
I'm pretty sure it will.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 10-6 will get a playoff spot, and then our spot could move based on other things that happen as well. But 10-6 should definitely get us playoffs. Is that anybody? You guys seeing that correct as well?
Yeah, that's why I read that earlier with the standings. As far as where everything's at, Buccaneers are pretty much sitting in the driver's seat right now.
Yeah, and that's another thing. This will be the first playoff we've had since Gruden. Think about that, man.
That's a long time.
I just don't want to get the 7th seed. It's almost like we're not in because if they didn't add a 7th seed, then we wouldn't be in. So I want to get that 5 or 6 seed.
I mean, I could care less what everybody thinks. At the end of the day, they just got to win. They got to win their games wherever they're at.
As long as we get in, listen. Do you guys have us taking Atlanta both games? Because as I look at the other teams, I'm thinking that our defense is going to continue to do what they do. As long as Todd Bowles doesn't get fancy. Last couple of weeks, you guys tell me. I think Todd Bowles has been getting a little fancy and not calling the blitzes, or at least the blitzes have not been getting there. But the team that would scare me out of these last games is really just the Falcons, because they're a division team. We play them, so I don't care how. No, the Falcons.
Yeah.
Because they're division, and I don't care what the record says. Whenever you're playing division games,
it's dangerous.
Yeah, I agree. That's where I would say we're either 11-5 and 10-6, or 10-6, because it's the Falcons. I ain't worried about Minnesota or Lions.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, somebody posted in there that the Bucs have 10 days to prepare for the Vikings. So you should see some type of new implications in the offense or defense this week. They have time to rest and more time to game plan.
I think here's thing about the defense though.
Go ahead.
If you notice the first quarter and a half of the Chiefs game, we were having a single back, safety back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he switched over to the two safety, was covered high.
Well,
that's when we started. That's when we started. Our defense started holding back, man.
So let me go to this, and I don't know if you saw it, Blake, but I did see this. So we were running single high safety, and most of the time, or earlier in the season, and a lot of times when you see us get home on our blitzes, we'll run a single high safety. We'll come with nickel blitz off the corner, right or left, doesn't make a difference. Based on the formation. Then what we'll do is we'll also bring one of the inside backers as well. But what we've been doing is we've been running single high safety. Sometimes the offensive formation calls for us to leave that nickel corner out there. But even when we do it, one of our inside linebackers usually covers that guy. What's been happening is instead of bringing that nickel, we would bring the both outside linebackers. So you'll get everyone rushing. That's JPP, all of your interior linemen, and then also Shaq Barrett rushing. The problem with that is on quarterbacks that get the ball out quick and they have receivers in routes, we haven't been picking it up, and we've been soft over the middle with that. And if you watch our blitz packages, test me and go check it out, Blake. Watch our blitz packages. You know that we blitz the nickel. This is why Murphy Bunting was in there. You see Winfield Jr., you see him getting home because we walk those nickels up and blitz them. But when we are forced to blitz only with our front and leave our linebackers back, it works better on run-based teams instead of pass-happy teams. Like this week when we play again against the Vikings that have Dalvin Cook and they're definitely going to run the ball, and we're probably now with the past 2 games, they're probably the number 1 run defense in the league at this point. We're gonna go out there and stop. Our bodies are fit to beat this team. We're made to beat a team like this.
Yep, the run. That's a game I'm not worried about with the Buccaneers as far as run goes. Yes, Davin's going to get his little slice of yards every here and there, but to just run ruck shot on the team, I don't think that's going to happen.
That was another playbook issue too. That playbook was perfect with Vida in there, but now they're having to adjust. They're having to adjust and bring more people.
Vida gets a double team. Exactly. Yeah, Vita would get a double team. We don't get double teams inside with McClendon or Nacho.
I did a breakdown on Khalil Davis, and Khalil Davis got doubled a lot in that game, and he played very, very well.
He was quick.
He was pretty much and which works is what we said. They said the Bucs don't really have a versatile defensive lineman that can pass rush. Well, now with Khalil Davis back, you do, and you can play McClendon, Sue, and Golston on rundowns. And Khalil Davis was coming in on passing downs and was getting home. He got a lot of penetration in that game.
Hey, Johnny, he was very quick twitch. When you watch him, he was extremely quick twitch, and I think he'll be better if he wasn't. He would look better if we weren't playing against the Chiefs,
right?
Because you have such a mobile quarterback
and getting the ball out so quick.
How many snaps did he take?
Oh, I don't know exactly, but he played exclusively on all passing downs, Johnny. Every third down he was in, or when somebody needed a spell, but pretty much every passing situation, Khalil Davis. Well, we're talking about it. Let's just look at it. I got that for you guys right here.
Good segue.
The 2026 round draft pick out of Nebraska, Khalil Davis, couldn't have returned at a better time for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. For the last quarter of the season, the Buccaneers will need pass rushing specialist Davis to rush the passer on third downs, while the other Ndamukong Suh and Will Golston provide run support on earlier downs. Look forward to Davis playing all multiple positions in the defensive line and offering pass rushing ability. Khalil Davis brings versatility to the defensive line, something the Buccaneers need at this point in time in the season. What you see here is Khalil Davis playing at one of the many positions, the 3 technique, and executes a perfectly executed stump with Jason Pierre-Paul, and that leads to Jason Pierre-Paul getting a sack of Patrick Mahomes. On this play, Davis is playing what is called a 1 technique. He plays in the A gap. Davis here has a responsibility of trying to spy Patrick Mahomes as he gets his head on both sides of the guard, trying to see where Patrick Mahomes is going. Pierre-Paul gets great penetration here. Davis, as you can see, gets his head across, locates Mahomes, comes back inside, comes back outside, then shows you he can get on the horse and run down a mobile quarterback, as you showed in his combine where he ran a great 40-yard dash, but Mahomes is able to get the ball off, but unfortunately for the Chiefs, it was a holding call. Davis is here at another 3 technique position and does a great job getting the offensive lineman's hands off of him while getting his momentum upfield and back inside to get in the pass rush lanes. Khalil Davis beats 2 offensive linemen and is able to get a quarterback hit on Patrick Mahomes, but unfortunately Mahomes completes the pass. Last but definitely not the least, my favorite one. Khalil Davis is at the 2 tech position, or the 2I, and draws a double team from both the guard and the center. And that double team allows Pierre-Paul to win his battle inside free, executes a great stunt with Shaq Barrett, which frees up Shaq Barrett to come across the edge and beat Patrick Mahomes to the spot so Mahomes does not break containment, and Patrick Mahomes is forced to throw this ball away. Great play, Davis. Great play, defensive front. There you have it.
Yeah, they played containment very well in that game.
Yeah, question. I was saying, are we expecting Jamel Dean with the bye week? If it wasn't for the bye week, he probably wouldn't have a chance to play. But with the bye week, hopefully he can, return to practice. What would it be, like Tuesday or Wednesday?
He should be.
Did he clear protocol yet?
He should be. He should be
in practice.
I wouldn't expect any hang up like Marpet. I expect him. I should play Eric. If you're asking, If he
He only missed 1 week.
Yeah, if you're thinking, if you're asking if would he be able to play if they had the game Sunday, as it looks like, it probably not. Probably not, if I had to guess. You think, Johnny?
He's got to have a full week of practice, so no.
Well, at least he has the bye right now, so then that would give us that extra time. Because I think he still has his time counting on him right now because he's in protocol. So you guys seeing anybody? You guys feel like you're seeing anybody out there that we could bring up off of our roster, practice squad, anything like that could possibly help? I know we're going to need some O-line depth going into playoffs, but what do you guys think?
They added a few people to the team the other day. I didn't actually look and check them out, so I have to go look back through there.
Well, that's the two that I know they brought those guys in for workouts. I think I had spoke about it earlier, Blake. They had brought those guys in for workouts. I know it was 2 O-linemen, Johnny, and I want to say 1 running back. I think Blake interviewed one or two of the guys in the Shrine game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Adrian Killens was a guy I was all on. The small, speedy back out of UCF, very dangerous in space. Made a great play for James Morgan that was drafted by the Jets, I believe, in the 5th or the 6th round. But one thing James said in that, he said, when you have a back like Adrian Killens that you could throw a 1-yard pass to and he breaks it for 40 yards on a reception, it's a very easy weapon to have on offense. And I don't know why Philadelphia didn't use it. Well, they have another guy there just like him, Boston Scott out of Louisiana Tech, kind of the same player. But Adrian fits like that James White kind of running back that Tom Brady is used to. What we were talking about earlier, a guy that could catch a 1-yard pass and turn it into 15 yards.
I see that more of a return specialist thing myself.
It's possible.
See, I think they would get taken. I think they'll take a flyer on anybody at this point from a production standpoint, because whether we kid ourselves or not, yes, Tom Brady will take shots, like Johnny said. He's the quarterback. He'll throw it deep. He won't throw it deep, whatever. But Tom Brady is definitely about staying on course. That's my belief. Just moving the chains. Over the past couple of years, I've watched him with no huge amount of talent, and he's really just been focused on moving the chains. So at this point right now, those little, I know they don't count as runs, but those little short passes to running backs, those are long runs. Those are extended part of your running game. Yeah, long handoffs, extension of your running game. They just count for the quarterback instead of the running back from a running standpoint. But we just got to get somebody that catches those passes and makes you miss. And I mean, maybe this offseason would have done Rojo a lot more help from a preseason standpoint. I definitely feel like the continuity could definitely be there, but we're many weeks in. There's certain things that players already do or already realize, and that's just not where they're at. Haven't seen any sightings of Watson anymore. He's not getting in. Scotty Miller barely gets in anymore. You guys got any takes on why some of these receivers, like I saw Tyler Johnson get a shot. I felt like that ball was right through his hands. He should have caught it. You got to be ready for those big moments. But I think he has elite talent from a route running and speed, and he breaks tackles. So what are you guys seeing for our rotation? Do you guys think that, the guys can do it or what?
Well, Miller has been playing injured. I know that's why they've limited him in playing.
Yeah.
Always injured.
Always injured.
Always injured.
He was on the injury report last game for the Chiefs game, right?
Yep. Always hurt. I've never seen an individual so hurt and never take any big hits. I just never seen an individual like
he's
that.
Just like muscle hurt. Like, I don't know. It's like he's muscle hurt, and it's always soft tissue, which this season, early, remember we having all those soft tissue injuries early just around the league.
Yep. Remember Mike with the hamstring, Goblin?
Yeah. All around the league, not just our team, but just everyone with soft tissue injuries.
Everywhere.
But I think that we're past that.
You're right, Johnny. Yeah, you're right. Yep. It's ridiculous. It's just, he's still having these same problems coming into week 12 of the season. Like, good. And that's why you bring in Brown, because you can't rely on these guys. And Justin Watson's just not aggressive wide receiver. You let people intercept passes in front of you.
Listen, they don't. To me,
my favorite tight end watching him play, man. I'm like, this isn't what I look at when I look at a wide receiver. His run style, everything about him just looks like a tight end to me.
Yeah, he looks like a small, like what Jimmy Graham is. He's one of those. He's like he needs to bulk up and be one of those kind of flex tight ends. Like, I'm just out here. I'm bigger than a wide receiver. He looks like he just needs to bulk up and be that. But I'm happy for some of the other, like Tyler Johnson. I just felt like he just has something. But right now, I'm hoping he's getting whatever sauce that you could get from a crafty veteran, because he's got everything that he could pull from. He can pull stuff from Mike Evans. He can pull stuff from AB, Chris Godwin. And to me, if you tell me that he's a Chris Godwin type, then you got to really think, like, what are we going to be doing when contract time comes around?
Well, yeah,
Chris Godwin's getting franchised this year, maybe.
I think Rick and Harry and Ray and me, we were discussing that Tyler Johnson thing, because, yeah, that's with contracts coming up. I can see, I know people will hate this. I know they will. But I could see Godwin going somewhere. You don't replace a body like Mike Evans.
Nope.
Mike Evans is going to be here. I'm sorry.
Here's the next thing, Johnny.
Godwin's not going nowhere.
Godwin can be replaced easily.
Wait, Johnny.
They'll franchise him at least.
Hey, I'll tell you this, Eric and Johnny. I'm gonna tell you, Mike's gonna be here because he continues to do contract-friendly things for the team. So that money that they're setting aside is guaranteed money for him.
Mike Evans' body type is the hardest to find in wide receivers. The guy that is going to go up and get those 50-50 balls and fight for it, that's the guy. He's your number one, and he's going to be there. Chris Godwin, if anybody's going to go, it'll be Chris, man, because there's three of them in every draft. Every draft.
Yep.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but it is.
and Mike is just a red zone nightmare, as Tom Brady said, and that's why he has 12 receiving touchdowns right now in the red zone, because it's nearly impossible to stop him throwing that ball. I mean, he just uses it like a rebound in basketball. That's pretty much what he does. But you're right. And so somebody said in the comments earlier, they game plan to stop Mike Evans. Nobody's game planning to stop Chris Godwin. Chris Godwin's been singled up all season. And you haven't seen what you saw last year with Jameis Winston, because Tampa's not taking those shots, those risk balls thrown into coverage and things like that Godwin this year. And plus, the key part, he hasn't been healthy all season. So that's why I know when people had Godwin played really well last year, people were so quick to want to get rid of Evans and bring in Godwin. You're seeing why you can't do that, because you cannot replace Mike Evans.
Oh no, you're gonna need several. You need several receivers. Look, the league is what it is. You never know when someone's gonna go down. You definitely need that next man up mentality. Chris Godwin, he's definitely a piece, man. I've watched Chris Godwin make. Put it like this: if it's a nervous in the middle of the field throw where I've seen Mike Evans drop this year, Chris Godwin usually digs those things out. He's that type of receiver for you right now. I think you have two great receivers in Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown that can play in the slot for you right now. Then you throw another speedster outside, because they both run great interior routes. Mm-hmm. You throw a true speedster outside, like you may have to go to Scotty Miller or Tyler Johnson to try to put them outside. And then you have Mike Evans on the other outside. And, dude, that's a formidable team there. I don't think that you could find a secondary that could cover those four receivers properly. Not to mention you got that backups in the backfield. So I don't see you having – there's no way. You can have two great corners or you can have two great safeties. You ain't having both.
Exactly.
Well, guys, it's the 4 o'clock marker. I appreciate everybody jumping on. Any final thoughts for everybody coming in? Well, it's no game this week, so just get healthy and everything right. I guess we'll talk.
Bucks will not lose this weekend.
Bucks won't lose this week.
Guarantee. Eric, you said
one more question.
Oh, go ahead, Eric.
Deshaun, do you think everybody, do you like Mike Evans is going to go off one of the last 4 games? Do we think he's got a chance at 1K? At 1K?
I know it was coming.
Maybe against the Lions.
I mean, I think you brought up a good point, Eric.
120 yards against the Vikings, 6 catches and 2 touchdowns.
Ooh, okay. You better go to Vegas with that one, Eric.
Oh wait, you said we got to write that down.
I'm not a betting guy. I'm not a betting guy, Blake. I'm not a betting guy.
Hey, listen, go ahead, Mike. Go ahead, Blake.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's a possibility with these last 4 games that he could rack up them yards.
But wait, where is he at now? Where is he at? What number is he at?
Let me
630 or 640, right?
Yeah. He's is it that low? Yeah, he might be right, Eric.
He was at 614, and then he had 50 yards against the Chiefs. So he needs 90 yards. That's what Nick Citro was saying.
613, but the biggest one is 11 receiving touchdowns, and he's got 48 receptions. He's not doing bad on receptions, just the yardage. But yeah, he can definitely
he needs like 100 yards a game, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like 95,
or 201 game, or it's possibility with these last 4 points
in the next 4 games. Put him at 20.
What'd you say, Johnny?
How about 9 touchdowns in the next 4 games? Put him at 20.
Yeah, he's definitely got to ball out these next 4 games if he's going to reach that 1,000-yard marker.
I can see him getting a quarter of the way there with just the Lions game, dude.
Oh yeah, that secondary is going to be horrendous.
The Lions have Okuda and Trufant. That's not a bad secondary.
As far as I'm looking at their stats, one of the worst in the league.
The thing is, you're able to do everything on them. That's the issue. They're not stopping anything. Mm-hmm. So everything is open, which means the defense can't key on anything. But listen, it is Mike Evans, guys. I think they're going to, teams are going to do Mike like how they do Mike. I mean, if somebody singles him up, sure, I could see him going off. But right now, I think all season, it's been, hey, we're going to take away Mike Evans and you beat us somewhere else. We're not just, they know Mike can go for 200 on him. And I'm with Johnny. I don't see him. I mean, 95 a game is pressed when Tom Brady's spreading the ball around. But if you're going to play Mike single,
you're going to get 8 up.
Yeah.
Yep.
But you're right. Deshaun brings up a great point. Teams know you have to take Mike away. Look at the offense when you take Mike away. It's completely a disaster when he's not involved in the game. And it's a copycat league, as everybody knows, and that's the recipe. We're just going to take Mike away and make everybody else beat us.
I got a question for you, Blake.
Go for
and
it.
Deshaun and Eric. Yep. How many yards running are we going to get in the next 4 games?
Oh, there it is.
Listen,
there it is.
No, listen. We better get more than Rojo. He's not going to be a victim of value. He better get over 45 yards per game and get 1,000 yards. I just need 1,000 yards where you can get to the playoffs, guys. I need 1,000 yards out of Rojo.
That would be disastrous if he did not reach
at least 400.
That would be disastrous.
Yeah, if Rojo don't get 1,000, then
he only needs 180 yards. That's like what?
That's what I'm saying.
He needs 45 per game. 45 per game. Yeah, but listen, guys, if he doesn't get 1,000 yards,
almost 200 against the Panthers, and the Vikings are not good against the run, right? They're like 20th against the run, or are they good against the run?
Their defense ain't no slouch.
I think I watched them play. I think they're pretty decent against the run. And listen, we can't discount anybody because our offensive line doesn't always knock people off the ball.
Right. Yep.
So there is, the NFL is definitely any given Sunday. I don't always look at everyone's record based on that because sometimes I feel like guess what? I don't care what the Falcons' record is. Right. They're going to play us tough and hard.
Absolutely.
Yep.
They're going to play us like I beat you before. And guess what? They don't have to. They got the same game plan that they've had. We got different players, and we may be able to exploit them from a player matchup standpoint. That's really what I think. It's the same, like Johnny said, same playbook we've been having. They've seen it. The difference now is really just that how Tom Brady chooses to do this. Does he want to mix his reds and his blues together, or does he want to keep them separate? That's really what's it. It's whatever Tom Brady's doing, but it's the same playbook. I'm with Johnny on that same playbook. He just got his favorite plays.
Yep. There you have it. Johnny, you want to add anything? Final thoughts?
I think we're going to see more Fournette. I keep saying that every week, don't I?
Yeah, you gotta mix it up.
It would make sense. I guess maybe I shouldn't make sense. Maybe I should go some off-the-wall stuff, man.
Yeah, say Keyshawn Vaughn.
Listen, I would be for Keyshawn Vaughn, but dude, since that big hit, I haven't seen him.
Yeah, he's been ghost.
He got that welcome to the NFL hit and
corner too.
Got left the NFL hit.
Yeah, left the NFL hit. Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah, he hasn't been back since then. And to me, when we talk about elusiveness, you would think one, he's a younger back. You watch his film, he's a little more elusive. But actually, Rojo, to be honest with you, Rojo's continue to be. It's almost like Rojo's in here under another screen name, like our GM was running around under the other screen name, the fake Winston.
Winston 101.
Winston 101. Winston 101.
No, is that a rumor? I think that was a rumor.
Well, he was speaking the same verbiage where he was on the talk show too. So
yeah.
I thought it was. If it was a rumor, it was real candy.
Honestly, but what I expect to see when we get back is a lot. What I expect to see when we get back is a lot more of our team starters and a lot less.
Now, baby, get back to it.
Yeah. They've only the ones that are going to be out there. I'm with you.
Games together where they've all been healthy and stuff, and it's like, okay, this is game 4. It's time for y'all to get on it.
And listen, did you like what you saw? I'm sorry, Blake. I know you got to get out of here. But let me ask you this. Did you guys like what you saw? I like how they're using AB because let me tell you something. How I'm seeing Antonio Brown use, if any tackle that he breaks, he's a big play waiting to happen.
It's a threat to the
house.
He's
a big play waiting to happen, guys. I'm telling you. He's taking it. He's going. The kids say take it to the apartments. He's taking it to the apartments right now.
He's taking it home.
He's taking it all the way.
He's had a few. Antonio Brown should. I've watched tape. Oh yeah, I see Eric. He at least should have at least 6 touchdown passes right now. There's been so many misses. He should at least have 6. I've counted.
That's the reason I'm with Johnny. Johnny has it right. We need to see more starters. What you got, Eric?
Eric, you said you had something? Oh, I saw your hand go. Oh, you're talking to somebody. I got you.
Yeah.
You're doing the hood call. I got you.
He in front of the apartment.
Yeah, he is. He already took the apartments. He said, meet me there, Rojo. Meet me there. All right, John. Go ahead, Eric.
Any chance you see LaShawn McCoy? I know he's been active, but
zero chance.
Only place I see McCoy is at the bar. That's the only place I see McCoy. I ain't putting his business out there. The only place I see McCoy is at the bar.
Wait, really?
Is he even on the team? When is he injured and we just don't know it?
He's hanging out in the shade, man.
Yeah, it's just MIA. The last thing I remember is him dropping a touchdown pass, and that's the last.
We want to see McCoy back. Why do I keep hearing this McCoy? McCoy's time is done, man. He came in here, caught him a last off contract, and he's walking away, man. He might walk away with a Super Bowl or a championship ring, but he's walking away.
He was checked out. He said from the beginning he don't care how many yards or rushes he has. He don't care. He's at the end of his career. He's a
warm body in this. So he's just a warm body in here. So I'm thinking that has to be the case because when we're bringing in players and they're running backs that catch the ball, only I can think is, guess what? I guess we're not using him. I'm looking. I was like, well, what about? Do you think we'll see Scotty Miller the next time? Everybody has all this time. We need to see where the speed is at. Right now, I really see Tyler Johnson as quick twitch. I see Godwin as quick twitch, and I see AB as quick twitch. Everybody and kind of Rojo as well, but that's only players from offensively that I see that are quick twitch that are going to make somebody possibly miss and keep it moving.
Yeah, exactly. And well, I think Tyler Johnson's just developing. I think him and the running back that disappeared after the hit.
I think
those two are in development, and you're not going to see them. The development players are done this year. They might come in a rotation or something.
Time now.
Yeah, it's big boy time. I'm with Johnny. I'm going to see more for
start now. We got last 4 weeks. Playoff time, man.
Listen, that seeding is going to be so huge for us. Hey guys, I know we got to get out of here. I got my last question for you. Who would you like in the first? Who would you like to face in that first round?
Probably a team from the NFC East. Any one of them?
Seahawks.
Oh Lord, I don't want to.
Oh my God, Eric! Eric, he's definitely at the bar. He's definitely at the bar.
Yeah.
No,
I'm
at the bar.
honestly with Eric
the
on
bar.
that. Give me that weak ass defense.
Yeah. You talking about Seattle?
Yeah.
You
Give me
know,
that.
You think Carlton can 1-on-1 Metcalf? Maybe with a safety over the top?
well,
Winfield,
that's a little easier, but 1-on-1 zero coverage, absolutely not.
He's gonna post him. That dude is big, man.
That dude's a big guy. He's like
you got to stop him. You definitely got to stop him. But that defense they got, I'll take a shootout. I'll go Green Bay with them.
Right now, it's Bucs and Seahawks right now as it stands.
Yep.
I would like to get. I would like to get a playoff win under the belt. I would like to see an NFC East team and get a playoff win, not just a playoff arrival. I would like to see a playoff win and then face off one of the big dogs because you're going to have to eventually. Can't hide from it. I would like to see that first.
If we want Tom Brady to stay here and sign back on and actually come back for next year, or pretty much if we want the whole band to stay together and come back, we really need to get to. I feel like we need at minimum. I think we need a playoff win, and we need to get to that pretty much the NFC Championship game. That's what we're going to need to do to get everybody to come back and be dialed in. Yeah,
get to the NFC Championship game, right?
Get to it. We need to get to it. We just need to get to it. If we get to it, to me, that's enough for everyone to be bought in and say, hey, we believe we can get it. It's just we're this close. But if we don't make the playoffs, that people are not coming back.
I just got to be a smart ass for a second. Deshaun, Tuitt's in Pittsburgh, right?
Wait, what?
What?
I said, Tuitt is in Pittsburgh, right?
Is it?
Yeah, Stephon Tuitt. Come on, man.
From Notre Dame.
Okay. Yeah. I thought you said 2. I'm like, 2 is in the Dolphins.
Come on, man. You guys messed up a perfectly good football joke.
And on that note, we're getting out of here. You guys are fools. Get out of here. All right, guys. Appreciate you coming on. We'll do this Monday. We'll see you Monday.
At the bar.
Yep. He said at the bar. All right. Well, and this as we always do, guys. And Deshaun will be trying to quote me. So you're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with is entirely up to you. Guys, make sure to like and follow. I guess you got some Buccaneer flags too. I'll add on there. Follow me on social media. Win you some stuff for just following. That's it. I send it off. I got a bunch of it. I was trying to get rid of it. Rather give it to you guys. You guys could use and give it to your family members. But when it says we always do, you're the master of everything. What you do with your life, what you do with it is entirely up to you. Thank you, guys. God bless. And as always, fire those cannons. If I can fire them, if I find the right thing on here. These guys got me all discombobulated. See ya.